Welcome to The Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Look, if you've been unplugged for the past 48 hours, you missed a monumental shift across, well, almost every sector of our global landscape. But don't worry, we're going to get you completely caught up. Today, I'm bringing you a highly structured, rapid-fire briefing of everything from polarized global politics and massive leaps in AI, all the way to a historic media merger and the latest World Cup results. We have a ton of ground to cover, and my goal is to give you a clear map of exactly where the world stands this weekend.
Okay, let's dive into this. To organize the sheer chaos of this weekend's massive news cycle into 5 clear, easy-to-follow categories, we'll start with America 250 and global affairs, pivot over to the accelerating AI race, check in on markets and entertainment, explore some incredible science breakthroughs, and wrap it all up with the World Cup and local weather.
Segment 1. America 250 and global affairs. Let's get right into the national and world news.
The America 250 weekend was, quite honestly, a real collision of stark realities. We saw a highly polarized political climate playing out right alongside severe weather disruptions. Out in Washington, D.C., thunderstorms actually delayed events on the National Mall by nearly 2 hours. When President Trump took the stage, his speech explicitly blended praise for the U.S. military, specifically claiming the U.S. wiped out Iran's military, with a very strong push for the Save America Act voter ID bill. Meanwhile, across the aisle, former President Bill Clinton issued a public critique of Trump, and several Democratic-led states actually boycotted the Freedom 250 events entirely, declining to send official delegations. To top it all off, the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool was vandalized, which prompted Trump to publicly call for the suspect's arrest. So, those are the strict facts of a historic yet deeply divided weekend.
Adding to that domestic complexity is the situation surrounding DOGE. The Department of Government Efficiency officially hit its executive order sunset date on July 4th. But what we're looking at right now is total uncertainty. There's currently no formal wind-down plan in place for a commission that has already triggered thousands of federal layoffs and voided billions in government contracts over the past year and a half. The expiration date has arrived, sure, but a logistical resolution? Not so much. Let's move to and see how this builds against a highly volatile global backdrop. In Iran, the massive state funeral for Ayatollah Khamenei has just entered its second day, with crowds loudly chanting for revenge, which is obviously complicating ongoing U.S.-Iran nuclear talks. Concurrently, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is publicly denying any rift with Trump regarding their aligned Iran policy. Meanwhile, over in Geneva, the UN is opening a critical global dialogue on AI governance this Monday to try and figure out an international oversight framework. And tragically, down in South America, satellite images are revealing the sheer devastating impact of the Venezuela earthquakes. To put it in perspective, we're looking at more than 58,000 buildings damaged and a death toll that is now nearing 2,000 people. Moving on to Segment 2, the accelerating AI race. The tech sector is moving at lightning speed.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer gravitational pull of the top AI players right now. It's just astounding. Global venture capital funding for the first half of 2026 hit a record-shattering $510 billion. But incredibly, just 2 companies, OpenAI and Anthropic, devoured 43% of that total. Think about that. Nearly $500 billion flooded the market, and almost half of it went to just 2 entities. That is a staggering concentration of capital.
And OpenAI is definitely putting that capital to work. They just confirmed their new GPT 5.6 lineup, fundamentally altering the cost-to-performance ratio for developers globally with a new 3-tier system. First, you have Sol at the high end, leading benchmarks with a 91.9% score on Terminal Bench 2.1, priced at $5 per million input tokens and $30 per million output. Then you have Terra, which matches the older GPT 5.5's performance but at literally half the cost. And finally, Luna, designed to be the absolute fastest and cheapest option. This structured pricing, it's an absolute game changer for how developers are going to scale AI applications.
But listen, the competitors are striking back hard. Anthropic is taking on healthcare, launching Claude Science, a beta platform with over 60 tools specifically targeting drug discovery. Google is integrating deeply into the Apple ecosystem, rolling out Gemini Spark for macOS to handle multi-step desktop automation. Microsoft is aggressively targeting the enterprise sector by launching Frontier Company with 6,000 engineers embedded directly into client accounts to co-design AI systems. The only major player stumbling this weekend is xAI. Their Grok 5 model is still training on a massive 1.5 gigawatt cluster and is confirmed to miss its Q3 release target.
Segment 3, Markets, Mergers, and Entertainment. Let's see how this shakes up Wall Street and corporate boardrooms.
As markets prepare to reopen on Monday, we are looking at some incredibly mixed economic signals. On one hand, the Dow is sitting at a record close of 52,900. However, this is clashing directly with a massive jobs report miss. June jobs came in at just 57,000. That is nowhere near the 185,000 expected, and it's heavily weighing on rate expectations. Add to that the Nasdaq sliding on semiconductor weakness, uncertainty around the July 24th expiry of the Section 122 tariff, and FedEx undergoing major restructuring by selling its logistics arm for $1.4 billion.
So the crucial point is $110 billion. I really want that jaw-dropping number to just sink in for a second because it represents a tectonic shift in the media landscape.
That $110 billion is the combined valuation of the new mega entity formed by Paramount Skydance acquiring Warner Bros. Discovery. Paramount secured the definitive merger agreement at $31 per share in cash, completely beating out a rival bid from Netflix. Pending regulatory approval, they are targeting a Q3 2026 close. This physically reshapes entertainment as we know it, combining two massive content libraries to do battle against the big tech streaming platforms.
Speaking of massive shifts in entertainment economics, check this out. Sony has just set a firm date for the death of physical media in their ecosystem. Starting in January 2028, all new PlayStation games will be digital only. This marks the definitive end of physical retail discs, fundamentally changing the distribution economics of the gaming industry forever. No more swapping discs with friends, folks.
Moving into Segment 4, Science and Health Breakthroughs. We've got some incredible advancements in longevity and preventative care.
A new study from UCLA just completely upended our previous medical assumptions. For years, the assumption was that a very common type of stroke was primarily caused by fatty arterial plaque. But the new finding? The strongest predictor is actually enlarged and damaged small blood vessels deep in the brain. Why this matters is immense. It radically reshapes future preventative care and treatment strategies for strokes, moving the focus away from just managing plaque.
And this brilliantly illustrates another major physiological breakthrough. Scientists have successfully mapped a highly specific neurofeedback loop. Here's how it works. When deep sleep is initiated, it activates a very specific brain circuit, which in turn directly commands the release of growth hormone. Understanding this exact pathway could revolutionize how we treat sleep disorders and age-related hormonal decline. They are literally mapping the biology of restorative sleep. Two more quick science briefs to share with you. Scientists at ETH Zurich have created a fascinating light-controlled molecular switch that can selectively wake up and destroy dormant treatment-resistant cancer cells. It's like flipping a switch to target tumors that normally evade chemotherapy. Absolutely brilliant. And looking up to the stars, NASA released a stunning visual tribute for the America 250 weekend, a Hubble portrait of Messier 3, an ancient globular cluster containing over 500,000 stars. Just a beautiful reminder of the sheer scale of our universe.
Finally, Segment 5, World Cup and Weekend Weather. Let's wrap this up with global sports and your local forecast.
The World Cup round of 16 is delivering massive drama right now. Over the weekend, Morocco decisively eliminated co-host Canada 3-0, while France edged past Paraguay 1-0 thanks to an Mbappe penalty. Early today, Brazil and Norway are locked at a tense 0-0 draw after Norway's keeper made a stunning penalty save in the 12th minute. Looking ahead to Monday, we have an incredible slate. Mexico hosts England, Portugal faces Spain in a massive Iberian derby down in Texas, and the U.S. men's national team is slightly favored against Belgium up in Seattle, especially now that star striker Folarin Balogun has been cleared to play by a FIFA panel.
To ground us back in your day-to-day reality, here is your rapid-fire local weather update for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's going to be incredibly hot today, with a high near 99 degrees and a 40% chance of afternoon thunderstorms. Expect a muggy 76 degrees overnight, and brace yourselves because that upper 90s heat is locking in through at least midweek. Keep an umbrella handy, but for sure stay hydrated out there.
Well, we've covered a massive amount of ground today. From the political polarization of America 250 and the UN stepping in to try and govern AI, all the way to Sony killing off physical games and a $110 billion media mega merger. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Which of these vastly different July 2026 milestones will actually change your daily life first? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.